Hi, I'm Konkona and you're watching me on Filmicafe.
She's made an indelible impact on Indian cinema with her work in front of the camera. Now she's making an impact behind the camera as a director with her directorial debut, A Death in the Gunj. I'm at the 2016 Toronto International Film Festival with Konkona Sen Sharma. Please. So this is your directorial debut. How unnerving is it to be debuting at the film festival and to be debuting as a director?
You know, it feels really unreal because this is actually a story that has been with me since I was a child. My dad, is a very charismatic man, and he's a great personality. He always tells really great stories, like really funny stories, some delicious, scary stories. And this story is actually something that I've been hearing since I was, 9 or 10, and it's just always stayed with me. And there's something really fascinating and compelling about like the crux of the story, and so much so that I felt the need to actually elaborate and fictionalize it further, to the point that events just unfolded as they did, in a very organic fashion. I started writing it, I wrote it, then I directed it, we sent it out, screeners, TIFF accepted it. And before I knew it, I was there. Cameron Bailey sent me, he was been so warm and so encouraging that it's all really just sinking in right now. None of it was planned.
So we're in Toronto, and the news is that it has been announced as the opening night film of the Mumbai Film Festival. So the journey is just starting with this film, and it is already at 2 film festivals. So what's your mind space like? What's going on in your head right now at this moment?
There's just too much going on in my head. I need to get out of my own head. What I want to do is I want to watch some other films and I want to read some books, because my mind is just like I'm so wired at the moment. But it's great. I think it's really nice for the film to travel to different festivals, because it's not, it's not necessarily the kind of film that one associates with Indian films. I only say that because I hear from a lot of people that what people think Indian films are just like, the Bollywood musicals, which is fantastic, and there's respect for that space, but it doesn't fall into that category at all. And I just feel like in festivals in different parts of the world, you have serious cinema goers, and it's wonderful if people all over the world are able to relate to the film. I would love to have that opportunity. So it would be wonderful to go to different festivals and see how people across the world relate to it.
Now, you made mention to it that the film is based on a short story by your father. What in the short story did you see was meant for celluloid and that had to be brought onto screen?
Actually, that's not how I looked at it. Before I even read the story ever, I don't think I even read the story ever properly. Much later, when I started writing it. I just always knew the story because my dad would always tell the story, and he tells great stories. Right. And I've watched my mom all my life tell stories, and she's also been, a huge inspiration in that sense. So it was just that this story fascinated me. It fascinated me so much. I didn't think that, I didn't consider whether it's right for celluloid or not. I just thought that I have to elaborate, I have to expand, and I have to convey somehow to other people what I find fascinating about it, so that they in turn find it fascinating as well. Right. And the medium through which to do this turned out to be celluloid, I guess.
Now you spoke about your mother, who is a phenomenal filmmaker. And yes, Aparna Sen. Yes, of course. So does that carry a weight on your shoulders now that you're turning director? Now you're stepping behind the camera, so you have Aparna Sen's legacy and films to, I guess, yeah.
I got asked this question a lot when I started acting as well, and I just always take it like as a compliment, because I feel like and even my grandfather's been a great film critic, historian, film director, so I feel like it's a huge compliment to me and my family if people have high expectations of me because of them. I see that as a really positive thing. It's as opposed to like, oh, it's Konkona and her family, what did she do? I mean, so it's nice to have. It's nice that people expect a lot from me. Let's see how that goes.
Right. Now, do you feel, Konkona, that turning director or debuting with Gunj is a natural progression of your journey in the cinemas? Like, did it naturally happen? Did you have to, kind of pause and say, I want to do this? So, do you feel it's a natural progression to turn director at this point for you?
I guess it just happened kind of naturally, because I didn't ever actually plan it. I didn't ever, plan on being an actor either. I didn't ever want to really be an actor. And I didn't ever really plan on being a director at all, especially because I've seen the other side of being a director. I've seen my mom. I've seen the struggle, especially if it's a struggle anyway, because it's difficult and it's hard work. But also if you're making films which are, more in the alternative space or more in the indie space than the mainstream, it is... it's difficult. It's a challenge. So I've seen the harder side of that. I've seen the darker side of that. So I knew that it wasn't going to be easy. And I didn't actually ever want to get into that specifically. I think it's just that this story had so much, it resonated with me so much that I couldn't escape it. I just had to tell it. And now hopefully I have escaped it. Now hopefully it's out of my system.
It's just the beginning, though, of the journey, like we were speaking, right?
Particular story, yeah.
Right. Has making this film, and you've been a part of the industry since you were at the age of 4.
I started acting at the age of 4.
So does this process of directing a film give you a newfound appreciation of filmmaking?
Yes, definitely, because I'm just seeing the sheer amount of hard work and labor that goes into this. I've seen it before with my mom. I've seen her coming home really late, working really hard. I've hung out with her on set. But I think as an actor, you can always say, okay, they didn't get the scene, they couldn't finish shooting in time. They'll figure it out, I'm always there to support and help, but ultimately it doesn't rest on the actor's shoulders. And I think that as on the other side, whether it's director or even as producer or production line producer, you have to get it done, and you have to get it done within limited resources, meaning time, money, etc. So it's a lot more responsibility.
Does it change the way you would be in front of the camera in any which way, or have a newfound appreciation of the acting process?
I think that I will. I in any case, I think I am fairly accommodating and obedient and all of that. But I think I will be much more because I know how hard it is. I felt like I knew, but I know now more, having lived it, and I'll just be better at it, I think, now. I'll just be nicer to everyone.
One of the key elements of this film is the character Shotu, Vikrant Massey. He's done a few feature films before this, mostly in supporting parts. What made you zone in on him for this part?
Well, I saw him first in Lutera, and he had a great impact on me. I just could not take my eyes off this actor, and I was like, who is this? And he really stood out for me in that film. I also saw him in Dil Dhadakne Do, where he was good, but I thought in Lutera he was phenomenal. He was very good. But both these roles, they were small roles. I didn't think that it did him justice because I saw a spark there. And he's an incredible actor. I knew then that I wanted to, watch more of him, and I wanted him in my film eventually when it developed, because I really like him. And I think it happens often that, there are so many talented actors who don't get their due. And I'm not saying that happened to Vikrant, and I don't know, because we don't know how that would have worked out. But it happens a lot, generally.
He's one of the fine actors in this film in terms of the ensemble cast that you have. Were these the actors that you had in mind while writing, because you've written the film as well? Did they fall into place easy? You have phenomenal actors, Om Puri ji, Gulshan, Kalki, Tanuja ji, phenomenal actors. I want to pronounce her name correctly, Tilottama?
Tilottama.
Tilottama. So phenomenal.
Shom,
Yeah.
All amazing.
So was it, you said I've written these parts, these are the characters I've written, and they couldn't have been better cast. Was it easy to get them on board?
It actually, I'm very grateful that it was not very hard. I always kind of knew that I wanted Vikrant for Shutu. Even Ranveer's character, I wrote with him in mind. And I think, and the others also just naturally fell into, the parts that I had written up for them. And I was very fortunate that most of the actors, once they read the script, because the script was, I think it was very detailed. It was a very detailed kind of a script. Everything was on it. It was on the page, and not much really changed. It was the 7th draft, so not much change when we went on the floor. And they all responded to the script, positively. So that's great. I'm grateful for that.
Now, you're not in it, right? Hello, FYI. So did you ever consider casting or starring in the film?
No, it was, I think directing your first film is in itself so huge and such a task that I think that I didn't want to complicate matters further by also acting, you know.
You wanted to keep it separate.
Yeah, and I also had great actors. I mean, I don't think I could have done the job that Tilottama or Kalki did.
Yeah. Well, that's a big compliment to them then, isn't it?
Of course, they're phenomenal in the film.
I agree. I concur. Now, this film has a lot of atmospherics to it. It's based in the Gunj, and it's based in a certain time, in the 70s. It's got this great sense of place and time. So, what made you want to set the film in that time period, in that place? Because it's never been shot. It's the first time a full feature-length film has been shot there. So.
It's just that Gunj for me was always magical. I mean, I've been hearing this name since I was 4 or 5. And my first memory of this name is actually, it's like, I must have been 5 or around 5. And I remember being woken up really early in the morning, at about 4 or 5 in the morning, and my mom saying, come on, wake up. And I was like, I don't want to wake up. And she was like, come on, wake up. We have to go to Gunj. And I was like, oh, we have to go to Gunj. So that has always been magical for me. Right. So the challenge was to make it magical for everyone else. And because it's a specific time and a specific place, it's like a graph. So only specific events can happen. Mm-hmm. And I think that if I said it today, events would not have played out as they did because, you wouldn't go to the post office or to make calls, or you'd be connected. You wouldn't be so isolated. I think that isolation was such an important part. It plays a big role in the way the plot develops and unfolds. The time and place in that sense. So for me, it had to be that time and place. And I was very fortunate to have producers who supported me in that and who actually let me shoot there, because it is a bit of a challenge, because it's not the best in terms of infrastructure and things. Gunj is kind of off the map. It's off the grid. But I think we pulled it off because we had a great team.
Mm-hmm. Now, what has been the most magical aspect of making this film for you?
Oh my God, everything on this has been magical. Magical is a bit naive, actually. It's also been exhausting and terrifying.
Special
is the other word that I hate, because everything's just special. But no, everything has been, it's just worked out really well. I think the fact that I was able to shoot here with this cast at this time, with the producers, putting in their support and the resources that I was able to have access to, I think that all of these factors coming together at a particular time and place, I think that worked out really well for us, I think.
Right. So a death in the Gunj for you is? Fill in the blanks.
Is something that cannot be summed up in a sentence. It is an experience.
Thank you so much for making time for us in Toronto, Konkona. You've made a fine film, and all the best for the journey forward.